everyone, I'm Claire, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a haul of some Cadillacquer polishes that I've gotten over the past few months. Some of them are from a What's Up Nails order that I placed in July, including a couple of mystery prototypes, and the others are from Polish Pickup for a total of 7 polishes. I've been meaning to share these for a while now, but just haven't had the time, but I'm getting to them now, so let's get into it. Cadillacquer is an independent nail polish brand based in Switzerland, but available from a few different stockists depending on where you live. I usually get mine from What's Up Nails, and honestly made kind of an impulse purchase in July. July is Polish Pickup Rewind Month, Polish Pickup being a monthly collab among a bunch of different indie brands, where they each create a limited edition polish. Alright, would you like to hang out perhaps? And in July, each brand brings back 2 polishes, one of which is available on the Polish Pickup website, and one of which is available from the brand's own website, or in this case, their stockist. So around then, I was looking at what Cadillacquer had to offer on What's Up Nails, because sometimes when they have something new, they'll also bring back older polishes for pre-order. So there ended up being a couple of older polishes that I hadn't wanted before but decided I was interested in, and there were also some mystery prototypes. There were originally 4 prototypes available, and when I noticed that a couple of them had sold out, that's what prompted me to stop waffling and place my order. But we'll start with the not prototypes. First is Asteroid Surf Ace, which was from the Interplanetary collection last year. This is a light, cool-toned gray polish with 2 different types of flakes. Larger aqua iridescent flakes that shift to indigo, which is such a gorgeous shift, and very small black to red multichrome flakes. And it was actually reading the description and realizing that they weren't just black flakes, but multichrome, that made me like, I might want this. This polish has kind of a jelly crelly base, so it starts out pretty sheer. It kind of made me think about when Kay the Stephanie talks about nail seasoning, like when she wears a topper on its own for just a sprinkle of something. So I feel like you could get that effect with this polish because you do get a good amount of flakes and pretty even coverage on the first coat, though depending on how thick the coat is, you will also get some of that gray base. And of course the gray base builds up more with each coat. I did a bit of a thicker second coat where I dipped back into the bottle, and that's when I really started to see the gray. And then it builds up more with the third coat, though I wouldn't say that it gets fully opaque. But it is a polish that you could wear in any amount of coats, depending on how much coverage you want. When I wore it in September, I think I just did 2 coats, and I was happy with that. And overall, I really enjoy this polish. I think it's stunning. I'm not sure why I wasn't interested before. Maybe I was distracted by other polishes in the Interplanetary collection, because at this point I have most of it, I'm just missing the flaky thermal. But I'm really glad I have it now. The 2 types of flakes are so different from each other, with the larger, super vivid iridescent flakes and the smaller, dark multichrome flakes, but somehow they work really well together. I don't have a lot of polishes with contrasting flakes like this, so I'm glad I added it to my collection. It's just really fun, and it made me enjoy an aqua color, which is rare. Next up is Whatever You Do, Don't Fall Asleep from last year's Halloween collection. It has a blue jelly base, purple shimmer, and lime green hex glitters in various sizes. I didn't get anything from this year's Halloween collection, nothing really called to me, but I was still thinking about this one from last year. I had initially skipped it because I was like, it's a very Halloween-y, witchy polish. It's not going to be very versatile in my collection because I'll mostly want to wear it in October. But then I thought, I only wear most of my polishes once a year anyway, so that's not really an issue as long as I don't get so many October-only polishes that I can't fit them all in. So I got it. Unfortunately though, I didn't enjoy the formula as much on this one. It was a lot more sheer than I expected. You'll see later I have another polish in this haul with a similar finish, and I tried that one first and it had really good coverage. So when I did the first coat of this one and it was so sheer, I was like, what's going on? And then I did the second and third coat, and it was still a lot more sheer than I thought it would be based on the swatches I had seen, where the blue base and the shimmer seemed to build up a lot more. I still had definite visible nail line, the jelly base was just so thin, and I tried to remind myself, polishes do tend to look a bit more sheer when I swatch them versus when I wear them, because my thumbnail has the most surface area, so coats tend to be thinner, and also I use a smoothing base coat when I actually wear polishes, which blurs my nail line a little. And that was kind of true. I wore this during October on my right hand, which has shorter nails, and it didn't look quite as sheer, but it still wasn't really where I wanted it to be. I don't mind a little sheerness with certain types of polish, but when it comes to the shimmer glitter mix, I think I do prefer a little more coverage. It is still a nice polish though, I love the color combo. I just might end up wearing it over a cream next time to get more opacity. So then we have the prototype polishes. I'll start with prototype 1. I don't have an official description for this one because it was sold as a mystery polish, so there wasn't any information on the listing, but what I'm seeing is a warm, bright purple jelly base, matte black glitters, and metallic orange glitters. So it's a similar finish to another Cadillacquer I have called Oh Yes There Will Be Blood, which has a red base and red and black glitter, and it also seems similar to one of the polishes in their Halloween collection this year called Goodnight Good Luck, but that one has a more true purple base and only the orange glitter. I like this polish. It had a nice formula, pretty even coverage from the first coat, and it built up well over the next two. Still has a little of that translucent jelly quality, but good color payoff, so I don't mind that it's not 100% opaque. It's not necessarily my favorite shade of purple. I prefer the purple in the Halloween collection, but I like that the prototype has two different glitter colors instead of just the one. I actually talked about it in my Polishes I Want in More Colors video, since I would enjoy seeing Cadillacquer do more polishes with this combination of black and colorful glitters. There are just so many possibilities. So for mystery prototype impulse purchase, I really can't complain. And then prototype 2 is kind of like a warm-toned version of Asteroid Surface, though the elements are a bit different. I'm seeing a light gray jelly base, small orange to yellow to green flakes, some tiny black flecks, and a dusting of silver reflective glitter. Though I could be wrong, it was kind of hard to tell what's going on in there. But I really enjoyed this polish. It's another fairly sheer one where I feel like the jelly base is kind of just there to show off the other elements, but the coverage was really even, so it's the type of polish that lets you choose how many coats you want to do. There's the more subtle speckled look with one coat, or really building up the iridescent flakes with 2 or 3 coats. When I wore this, I did do 3 coats since I wanted a bit more coverage, but I can see myself wearing it other ways in the future, or even using it as a topper. Like, I bet it would look really good over Holo Taco's Foreshadow, which is a warm gray cream. So I'm definitely happy that it made its way into my collection. I don't have any other polishes quite like this, and I think it's really fun. A little sparkly, a little grungy, a little ghostly. I really feel like this one should have been chosen for a collection, though there was a similar polish in the Halloween release, I think called In the End We're All Just Bones. So yeah, those are all 4 polishes from my What's Up Nails order. I ended up with 2 gray flaky polishes that I really love, and a couple of purplish polishes that I'm not as enthusiastic about, though they are still nice. And then the last 3 polishes are from Polish Pickup. Like I mentioned before, Polish Pickup is a monthly collab among a bunch of different indie brands where they all contribute a limited edition polish based on a certain theme. I don't shop every month, but I do always keep an eye out for what Cadillacquer and Lurid Lacquer are releasing, since they're the 2 brands I buy from that participate. So I'll start with Lion's Mane, which was Cadillacquer's July polish. July is always Rewind month, where past polishes come back, so I'm not sure when this polish was first released or for what theme, but I'm pretty sure it's based on Lion's Mane jellyfish. It has a bright red-orange Crelly base, orangey gold shimmer, and light blue matte hex glitters in various sizes. And this is the polish I referenced before, that in theory is a similar finish as Whatever You Do Don't Fall Asleep, but it has much better coverage. The first coat was somewhat sheer, but it had really good color payoff, and then it built up in the next 2 coats to the point that it looks opaque in most lighting. And I think this polish is so gorgeous. I don't necessarily seek out orange polish, but this one caught my eye, I think because of the complementary color combo of the orange and blue. And it's also just so vibrant. The way the base color and the shimmer combine creates this really glowy, fiery look that I really enjoyed. I also like the depth you get as you build up the layers, and how the base tints some of the glitters and makes them look purple. It's just a really unique combination of elements, and that's where Cadillacquer excels, putting together colors and different elements like shimmer and glitter in a way that you wouldn't expect, but that works surprisingly well. So I'm glad they brought this one back and that I was able to pick it up. The next polish is not quite as inventive, but still fun. It's Time and Space from the August time travel theme, and it's described as a light blue Crelly with matte navy blue glitter and pink to orange iridescent flakes. If unique color and glitter combos are the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Cadillacquer, the second thing is light blue polish. I feel like one of the maker's signature moves is to make a light blue Crelly with different flakes or glitter or both. Like for November's Polish Pickup, they basically did this polish again, but with white glitter instead of navy. And that's not a bad thing. I do like their light blues, but if you are ever feeling FOMO about a light blue polish from Cadillacquer, just know there probably will be another one at some point. Time and Space stood out to me compared to some others because I enjoyed the addition of the navy glitter, and overall I was happy with how it looked when I swatched it. It's another that starts out pretty sheer, you can barely tell it's blue in my first thin coat, but it built up decently with the next 2 coats, and there was a good amount of glitter. I did notice a little unevenness. I feel like polishes with chunky glitter and flakes don't always self-level quite as well, but but it evened out with top coat. I wouldn't say that I'm super enthusiastic about this polish. It didn't end up wowing me with the color the way Lion's Mane did, for example, but it's still pretty and nice to have in my collection. And last, we have Let Him Go, Keep Yourself from October when the theme was optical illusions. This polish was inspired by a makeup look that someone named Mimi Choi did, where she made it look like her face was swirly and distorted. It has a deep maroon base with matte yellow glitter in a variety of sizes, and pink iridescent flakes with a yellow shift. I also see a blue shift in the bottle, but I haven't noticed that on my nails. This polish has a pretty good formula. It's definitely a jelly base, so you can see the glitter and flakes through the layers, and there was some streakiness and patchiness in my first 2 coats, but I feel like that was mostly gone by the 3rd coat. I'm wearing it now, and I feel like I did a better job with application compared to my swatch, so I'm happy with the coverage. And I do really like how this polish looks. It's a unique color combo, and I was kind of on the fence about it at first, but I decided to get it because I was also wanting to get Lurid Lacquer's polish pickup offering that month, which I'm also wearing now, and I feel like they complement each other really well. So now that it's on my nails, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad I got it. I feel like if it were just the jelly base and the flakes, it would be a very elegant, vampy color, but the addition of the yellow glitter makes it more fun and interesting and just a nice, rich fall shade. I will say I would like to see a little more of the largest size of the glitter. Like, I got a decent amount in my swatch, but not as many in the full hand mani. I had to put in a little extra effort to make sure that I got a couple in the final coat on each nail. Maybe they had just settled to the bottom and I needed to put the bottle upside down for longer before painting, but either way, not a huge deal. I still enjoy this polish. So those are all of the polishes that I've gotten from Cadillacquer over the past few months. In general, I was pretty happy with them, and I'm just glad to see that Cadillacquer is continuing to do these interesting glitter mixes and color combos. I know it's not always the most popular finish, and some people would rather go for an elegant shimmer or a more uniform micro glitter or something like that, which I also enjoy, but I love how creative the maker gets, and I think these polishes are gorgeous. But yeah, I think that's about all I have for you today. Before I go, I do just want to mention that I'm planning to do a Q&A Ask Me Anything type video on my channel next month to celebrate 1 year of making YouTube videos. So if you have any questions for me, you can go over to the post I made in my community tab a few weeks ago and leave them there. I'll try to have it linked in the description to make that easier, or you can just leave a question in the comments of this video and specify that it's for the Q&A. And other than that, just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching till the end of this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of my haul, if you got any of these polishes, or if you have a favorite from the ones that I showed. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would leave me a like, or maybe even subscribe. Hyping videos is apparently also something you can do now. You could also follow me on Instagram, linked below. But thank you to everyone who has done any of that, and I'll see you next time. Bye! This is not gonna work long term, I don't think. I would prefer if you got down from there.